Welcome to RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network with your hostess, Jen Josie. Join like-minded real estate investors and accelerate your business towards greatness. You will hear step-by-step strategies for success, interviews with real estate rock stars, and we will dig deep into past projects where we bear it all, including the good, the bad, and some just plain ugly. So get excited. Here's the bestower of badassery herself, the real Jen Josie. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, and welcome back. I'm Jen Josie, creator of RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network. Whoop, whoop. On today's episode, we have a guest that will be sharing one of their past projects. We will let you decide if it was good or bad or just plain ugly. But before we begin, here's today's badassery bestowment, my little badass gift to you. Today's topic are the contractual words or assigned. If your state allows wholesaling, you should get into the habit of writing your contracts by adding the words or assigned. In the section of the contract where you enter the buyer's name, that's you should add or assigned after your business name. This leaves the contract open for you to wholesale the property if anything changes and you can't close the sale. There are several reasons why a sale might not go through, but most popular is funding issues. It could also be as simple as getting too many deals at once. The main point of this badassery bestowment is by adding those two words, you can still make a wholesale fee instead of walking away and possibly losing any due diligence or inspection fees you put down on the property. If it comes to the point where you need to walk away, find another investor and assign the contract to them for a fee. The amount of that fee is completely up to you. That investor is now happy that they have a new deal with minimal work in acquisitions. The seller is also happy because they can still close on time and they are receiving the amount promised to them. So, by adding or assigned after your business name in the buyer's section of an offer to purchase agreement, it's an exit strategy that can turn into a win-win situation for all parties. Now, on to today's episode of the Real Estate Investor Growth Network podcast. We have with us return guest Mike Otranto. After he graduated college, Mike worked in corporate America and quickly learned it was not a good fit. He moved to Raleigh in 2005. I moved here in 2006 and jumped into real estate investing and general brokerage. By 2008, Mike built up a portfolio of rentals and had a couple of flips under his belt. By 2010, all of the rentals were losing money, so he had to return to work. He used the opportunity to acquire some needed skills in the area of business to business selling and digital marketing, all while slowly rebuilding the real estate business. Mike was able to leave his job, in 2018, and now runs Wake County Home Buyers, a local company that buys houses directly from homeowners. So welcome back to the show, Mike Otranto.
Hey, Jen, thanks for having me.
Yay! The first time I interviewed you, we had not met in person yet, but I got to see you recently. Right. Finally, COVID, damn you, COVID. I got to see you at one of our RIA meetings, where you spoke, because, you're pretty famous in this area. So tell us, anything exciting happened between our last interview?
I'm working on 5 flips now. I just went to North Raleigh. There's one there that I'm working on. That's going to be about $100,000 renovation.
Wow.
I got a good deal on it, and it was the seller and I were a good fit. But from an investment standpoint, it's kind of got what we call the wrong things wrong with it, meaning HVAC, siding, and roof, which, we don't get a good return on that stuff, but, I'm deciding to tackle a project anyway. I think it's a good product, and the seller and I have a good understanding. So it's going to be a great project, but that's, I'm going to be spending lots of money this holiday season.
And did I hear that you got into Airbnbs recently? Was that you?
Yes, I have an Airbnb in Willow Springs, and it's a house that, since it has a pond on it, it has like this beautiful natural pond on an acre of land. I just fell in love with the house and said, I don't want to sell this house. And I considered renting it out just as a traditional rental, but someone from TRIA approached me and says, hey, I'll rent it from you and turn it into an Airbnb. And then we started talking, and now she's managing it for me. I'm paying her to manage it, and we're kind of, partners in that respect. But it's my first Airbnb, yes.
And that's our friend Kathy, right?
Yes, Kathy Foresta.
Shout out to Kathy Foresta. Yeah, she is just so smart. And man, her attention to detail with decorating, and you lucked out getting her on your team. So awesome. Yeah. All right, well, let's dive in. I have been excited to hear about this property that you are going to discuss since the last time you were on here. Mm-hmm. And from what I remember, this was one that was a lot bigger than what you are used to doing. So let's dive in. Tell us a little bit about the property, how many bedrooms and baths, what year it was built, all that fun stuff.
Okay. It is a standard kind of 60s box ranch, 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bathrooms. The second bathroom was not a full bathroom. Brick, so the exterior was somewhat solid, but it was in a up and coming area of Raleigh where, people were starting to put lots and lots of money into renovations and make them sort of very hyper modern and then pay lots of money for it. So, it turned out to be a really great renovation.
And how'd you find this property?
They found me from my website. The owners of the house were out of state. It was originally her mother's house, and her son was staying there. So the mother had to leave because she, became incapable of caring for herself. So that it was understood that her son was going to move in there and take care of it, and he did not. There was lots and lots of beer bottles and things in the back porch. So he was kind of partying, and the house was pretty tore up. And the interesting thing was, I noticed when I went to go see the house, it was at night. So I didn't really see the exterior too much. But after I got it under contract, I went and I looked in the crawl space, and there was about a foot of water in the crawl space.
Ugh.
And what happened was they had a pump. So they had a pump that would have gotten rid of that water, but there was so much clothing and just junk. What happened was the bed knocked the plug out of the outlet, and it was basically unplugged. And I guess he didn't know that. So it could have been avoided, but he was just doing his whatever. He was a nice guy. He just wasn't responsible enough to take care of the house. So
Can we go back to they found you? Because I actually reached out to you recently. This is how I got you back on the show, because your website is always towards the top when I do Google searches, because I'm revamping all of my marketing stuff right now. I'm just in a phase. And so what's your secret sauce for this? How do you have your website so far up in the searches? And I don't think you're paying for it either. It's just like organic. Oh, you are paying for it.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Search engine optimization, abbreviated SEO. My background in digital marketing did kind of instill in me the importance of this, and the fact that inbound leads, people that are searching for my services and find me based on their own internet research, they're much easier to convert those leads. And I can get them at a better price because there's no agent, wholesaler, or any intermediary that's taking out some of the margin.
Right.
I've been doing the SEO. I started out DIY in the early teens, and that really didn't work. But once I hired a company in about 2016, 2017, that's when the website started to climb. It takes a while to get high up on those rankings, but once it's there, it's worth it.
Oh, absolutely. And, as I was trying to figure out the keywords for keyword searches when you're doing the SEO on just a random website, I would type in something and there is Mike's website. And then I'd type something different. There's Mike's website again. So very impressive. Can I ask how much do you spend monthly on a feed,
I would say
like that?
Average is about $1,000 a month.
Okay. That's not bad.
Now in the mid-teens, I didn't have $1,000 a month to spend. So I started off with $500 a month and then increased it to $1,000. But I think $1,000 a month is where we need to be.
And you make that back like so quickly.
Yeah, what I do is at the end of the year, I compile all my inbound leads into an Excel spreadsheet, and then I'll list the date it came in, the property, the source, whether that's SEO, paid search or paid ads, and whatever source it is, like direct mail or something like that. But it gives me a breakdown of, what was the total spend, how many leads did I get, how many deals were converted, and then I can start to get things like average cost per lead, average cost per deal, and then an overall conversion rate of, let's say, SEO is about 1 in 12.
Wow.
Other forms are closer to 1 in 18, something like that. And I did experiment with a little bit of Facebook this year, and it was like 1 in 40 or something, like very low.
Yep. That's why I'm transitioning over to SEO, because I had a Facebook ad and it did great in the beginning and definitely paid itself off tenfold, but now it was definitely slowing down. So thank you for sharing that. And you were not expecting me to ask that. So thank you. And we were spending $1,000 a month. So perfect. Oh, last question. How long does it take for that to build up? Does it take like 6-8 months for it to start moving towards the top?
SEO?
Yeah.
It depends on the market, but in a very competitive market like Raleigh, I think we're looking at 8 months to a year.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Good to know. All right. So you have this property and the sun was drinking away and letting the foundation get all wet underneath the house. So when you bought it, what was your first, what did you want to do with this project?
Well, when the lead first came in, I talked to the owner and I kind of just let him talk because he was upset. It was actually, there was the original owner that was elderly, her daughter, and then the daughter had a son. The daughter was remarried. So that's the person that called me. And I think he was more transparent than the daughter might have been, because he kind of just laid it out and said, I'm tired of this crap and I want to get rid of this house. And these are generally things that I look for as a salesperson. When somebody says, I want to get rid of this, I want to be done, those are the type of leads that I give a lot of attention to. I bought it. Can I tell you how much I paid for it? Is it too soon for that? I paid $130,000 for it, which is a very good price for that area.
Yes.
At the time.
I live about 5 minutes from that area. So, wow.
I didn't mention the price. He did. And I learned to just be quiet and let him talk. So I pinged my realtor real quick. I said, what do you know about this? Well, I know that area. Could get it under contract, go full steam ahead. So I did that. And then I wasn't sure because I thought that maybe, I could turn around and resell it and make maybe a $40,000 profit, which is great. Or I could maybe do a somewhat, maybe a renovation, just cosmetic. Don't move any walls or change anything. Just do a few things here or there and maybe sell it in the, high 200s or something like that. And the more I thought about it, the more I said, well, what if I just went all out and completely gutted it and created a new product? And that was kind of scary because I haven't done that before. I was risking a lot of capital at that point. All
right. So you bought it at 130. You could just simply hotel it, meaning do a wholesale, but as a retail for the MLS. And what was that amount? What could you have sold it for on the MLS at that point?
Probably about $200,000.
Okay, so that's quick cash in your pocket. But you decided to renovate it and throw some major cash at it. So what was your original ARV for this property?
The original ARV was $299.
Oh, okay.
About somewhere in there, with just a cosmetic kind of thing.
All right, and then what were your first estimate of repairs that you were going to do to it?
About 50.
Okay. And what did that cover, that 50,000? That
would cover carpet, paint, fixing the crawl space, some roof repairs, new cabinets in the kitchen, new fixtures in the bathrooms, and a slight expansion of the half bath into a full.
Ah, so smart. So I know from this project, I've seen it, you did not do that. So what changed here? So you originally were just going to do a lipstick job and have an ARV of about $299, but what really happened?
The contractor that I was working with, I invited him to walk it. When he looked at it, he said, I don't know, this needs a lot of work. He goes, I don't think I can do this job for you. He goes, there's a lot of work here. And I'm like, oh, my main guy just like said, no, thank you. And I was like, okay. So I already knew of a person in Tria that was a general contractor. I had spoken to some other Tria members that I trusted.
And by the way, TRIA is our local RIA group, Real Estate Investor Association. So keep going. It's actually NC RIA now, but keep
NC
going.
RIA.
Yes.
That's the whole state. So BJ Ward, I trust him. He's been around for a while, and also Don Brennigan. Both were recommended a contractor named Anthony Rivera. I talked to him, and he came by and said, we have experience with this kind of work. What do you want to do here? And he said we could pretty much rebuild the whole thing. And I think I was shooting for about $100,000 renovation at that point, with an ARV of about 365.
Oh, nice.
So
all right. So what were the next?
He came at me with some ideas, one including adding square footage, actually expanding the structure. What we decided on is rip it down to the studs and raise the ceiling and completely rebuild the floor plan.
I love that. That's called popping the top. We've done that a couple times and love it, love it, love it. And I know this area, and there are definitely larger families moving into this area. So there's a need for it. This is not something that you can just go into any neighborhood where there's a whole bunch of, 1,000 square foot little cottages and then build this monstrosity. It's not going to fit. But I know this area, so there's definitely expansion going on. So super, super smart. All right. So you have it under property. Like, this all costs money. How did you finance this?
I went with a larger, the initial purchase was financed by a local guy that I know that just has some money in his IRA, and I have a relationship with him, so he agreed to lend it to me. But to finance this $100,000 rehab, I was going to need a draw. So I went with a large lender, Lending Home, that's now Kiavi. They had experience with it.
I had no idea. I just wrote down Kiavi, but that's yep. Lending Home now?
It was Lending Home. Now they're Kiavi.
I learned something from you all the time. What's that?
So out of all the hard money lenders, their rates are probably the best that I've seen.
Yes, agreed.
And I agreed, they do all there's a little bit more work. You have to upload some documentation, some comps. They have someone to come out there and take pictures and all that stuff. But they were willing to give me a draw, provided that I put down 10% of the purchase price, which was only like $15,000 because the purchase price was low. So,
all right. So you have this new guy coming in, and you have to now get someone to design all this for you. So tell me the steps that happen next.
He came up with a floor plan.
Wow.
Of completely opening everything up and raising the ceilings. So you have that kind of cathedral type ceiling, completely expanding the kitchen and living room area. The entire right side of the house, which used to have 2 bedrooms and a half bath, was converted to a master suite with a big, nice bathroom and a big walk-in closet. The 2 bedrooms were moved to the rear of the house, which was like a extension and like a bonus room. And he just put the bedrooms back there, and it worked out great because now it's sort of this luxury style. Hey, I have a great kitchen, I have a great master suite, I have a great closet, and I have like this killer bathroom. And then, the 2 bedrooms are in the back if they want them. They're good for bedrooms.
So you didn't have a second floor. You just expanded.
No.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
No.
Gotcha. All right. So you have your finance in place. How long did this project take?
120 days. It was right on schedule. It wasn't bad. Wasn't bad at all. He was actually a little early, so it went well.
I'm in shock and that doesn't happen now because of this damn supply chain.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
Early 2020, you could actually buy windows.
Oh my gosh. Windows, they're killing me.
Actually, you know what? It was early 2021, excuse me.
Really?
Yeah, I bought it December 2020 and I sold it this year. So it was on my books for this year.
All right. So 120 days goes by and now you're getting ready to list it. So originally you said about 365, you thought?
Yes.
What did you end up listing it for?
425.
Ooh. All right. And how long was it on the market?
a weekend, 2 days, 3 days. It was interesting because at the time the comps were 365, but then as time went on, we started to see more activity in the area. So we started to see like 399. And by the time we got there, my realtor started saying, I think we can do 425, maybe even 435. So at that point, I told the contractor, I said, okay, we did some custom seating and benches in the eat-in kitchen area. And then we did some more custom shelving in the master closet. So we really upgraded some fixtures at that point. We did level 5 quartz tops and a little bit more money on it, just because my realtor kept saying, you'll get your money back, don't worry. And, eventually I did. But we really we put some shiplap in the, the main area, just some extra touches. We spend a little bit extra money there just to make it really pop and really look nice. So it's listed. I think that weekend I was going out to Wilmington to do something, and she called me with an offer that day.
Wow.
And it was, okay, we listed at 425. That offer was 455. And they offered me $50,000 due diligence.
What month was this, by the way?
June.
Okay. So this is like crazy town where
Yeah.
The inventory was so low across the country, actually.
Yeah.
So people were going nuts. All right. So you have one offer in, and did you get any more offers after that?
Yes, that was one of 2 offers, but that offer was so great that we really didn't, the first offer really didn't get a lot of attention. So I told my realtor, I said, if somebody wants to offer me $50,000 due diligence money, I'm like, why don't I just take it? And she goes, no, wait. She goes, we have more showings tomorrow. And, she goes, no reason to jump at it because they're very flexible. So I said, okay, well, wait. And the next day I got an offer for $465, $25,000 due diligence money. So I said, okay, business is business. I have to get my money back and make a good profit. So I said, we'll go with the highest and best offer, which at that time was that amount. And I talked to, everybody else that I talked to about that situation. I said, well, look at the housing market now. Here's a person that is willing to put up $50,000 due diligence, is willing to risk that. When he sent over his paperwork, it said that his mortgage was only going to be like $200,000. He was just bringing cash to the table for the rest. And I said, imagine this. This is a person that can't buy a house. I mean, think about it. I mean, he just, he didn't offer. I mean, people just throw money, and there was almost no logic to it. People just throwing money at houses. And the other interesting thing is that house actually did not appraise.
That's where I was going to go to next, because that was the next issue.
It appraised at like 430, but the buyer just put in the extra money. Said, I don't care, I want it.
Wow. So this was the second buyer. You went with
the
highest.
buyer was under the contract, but yeah.
Okay. So you sold it for $465?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. And $25,000 due diligence.
Yes.
So they're not walking. I mean, they just handed you $25,000. They're not going anywhere.
Not going anywhere. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So did anything happen from the purchase or the contract to the actual closing? Were there any issues that came up?
There were no problems. There were some things that came up in the crawl space, some duct work, and, Anthony just took care of it. So he just fixed it.
All right. So your estimated repairs you were thinking about 100,000. So what were your actual repairs?
About 150.
Ooh, okay. Because you did all those extra upgrades. Okay. And definitely paid off. What was your interest?
8.75.
And that's with Lending Home, which is now, what is it called?
Kiavi,
yes. And holding costs. You did not hold this very long. So what were the holding costs?
Holding costs were about $6,000.
Okay. And the commission? Okay, go ahead.
With Kiavi, what they do is they take their interest out monthly, and it's an auto draft. So they just draft their monthly interest. Normally when I use local lenders, you just pay them when you sell it.
Right. A balloon payment. Yep.
Yeah, balloon payment. But Kiavi just drafts it monthly. And
then your closing costs?
Closing costs were about $23,000.
And commissions to the agents?
5%. Yeah, commission to the agent.
All right. So, drum roll, what was your total profit on this property?
I cashed a check for $178,000.
Wow.
And it's about, when everything, I would say about, like 160-ish.
Okay.
So that's $2 back for every dollar invested, which is fantastic. I mean, it's very difficult to find that.
Absolutely. And can you believe like you were just going to hotel this and put it right back on the market? And
yeah.
So now you have caught the bug, haven't you? You're doing these larger renovations now. Yep.
And the thing about my business model is I'm direct to consumer. Consumers come to me directly. The thing about wholesaling is you need lots and lots of transactional volume to generate the amount of income that you need to pay off all your marketing and pay yourself. But I started out with the small carpet and paint type renovations because, I'd rather take the $25,000 out of the deal rather than the 5 or the 7. So it just makes more sense for my business model to keep these deals in-house and make as much money as I possibly can. Because that $178,000 that goes back into the infrastructure of the business to acquire more deals, to do more marketing, and to actually grow the business. So it just makes that business model is just a better fit for me.
Well, I am so impressed, and I could not wait to hear about this property. I know of this property, and you just nailed it. You did such an awesome job. So congratulations. That is definitely a slam dunk. So congratulations to you. And the second half of the podcast, because clearly, Mike, you are a badass, is I use the acronym BADASS, and I want to find out, what is your favorite book? What's a book that's made a huge difference in your life? That's the first letter of BADASS.
Okay. There's the Traction
Yes.
by Gino Wickman. I use that to this day. As far as organizing, there's a lot of actionable advice in there. It's under 200 pages. Plus you have downloads that you can get that are, how do I organize what the company's direction is going to be? What are the goals? You just fill it out in a Word document. And that did help me move from a wholesaling business to a flipping business because, there's an exercise there, choose your company's core values. What does the company want to do? And I like to work with the home sellers. Also, when I'm renovating a house, I spend a lot of time talking to the neighbors, saying, hey, if there's any problems, this is my card. You come and you see me.
Yep.
The woman adjacent to the house at Chatham, Miss Joy, I had lots of conversations with her. I actually recommend someone to help her with her washer dryer area. There was some wood rot, so I recommended someone that I trusted to get her fixed. There was some water runoff that was a problem, and I just go ahead and I had to ask her permission to do that because it was work on her property. But I said, I'll just take care of it. I'll just pay for it. So it's kind of my opportunity to, positively impact the community, and also they're going to refer more business to me. So as kind of a direct to customer acquisitions company, it helps my business more to be able to be there and just, get to build relationships in the community with the owners of the houses and the neighbors.
And Traction helped you to develop this business plan and
yes.
Put that all together. Yes. Traction was like a textbook to me. You would go through and just fill out each section. Yes. Great book. You had a pumpkin book. I want to hear about the pumpkin book. What was that one?
The Pumpkin Plan by Mike Michalowicz. He uses the analogy of farmers that grow giant pumpkins that grow up to about 1,500 pounds. And they win contests, and the seeds that those pumpkins, the winning pumpkins produce are about, if you want to buy one seed, it's anywhere from $150 to $300 for the seed.
Gosh.
And the analogy is, well, how do you grow a giant pumpkin? One analogy is you have to get rid of the rotten pumpkins off the vine, and the rotten pumpkins are the ones that aren't going to grow, but they siphon resources away from the giant. Mm-hmm. And these are projects like, hey, I'm flipping houses, but why don't I get into commercial? These little distractions that siphon resources, time, energy, and money away from the main focus. So that, it's a very simple analogy. And there are some things in there, some worksheets. One is to determine what's your business's area of innovation. And I remember thinking to myself, well, I have a real estate business, there's hundreds of them. There's nothing real proprietary about it. I mean, where am I innovating? And the reality is I'm innovating in that I'm direct to customer. Customers find me, I don't find them.
Yep.
Cold calling. Occasionally I'll buy something off the MLS or from a wholesaler, but it's rare.
Yeah.
Customers are finding me, and I spend a lot of time and attention making myself available. So when someone searches for a local cash home buyer, they find me.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Thank you for sharing those 2 books.
Sure.
All right. The first A in Badass is advice. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received? And by the way, you've been on the show before, so I'm asking for different advice this time.
Advice? I don't remember what I said last time. I think the rotten pumpkin advice, that analogy is good, because sometimes I have to think to myself, even like when we talked about the person that called me and he started saying things like, I have this house in Raleigh, I want to get rid of it. Son-in-law is not taking care of it. Those are good things. Those are giant pumpkin words.
Yep.
But have somebody, hey, it's a great house. It's awesome. It's wonderful. You could just put $2,000 into it and sell it for double. And it's wonderful. Generally, that's a rotten pumpkin. That's not a seller or a situation we're going to spend a lot of time. So, or if you have the situation where, let's say it's a divorce situation, you have one spouse that will not sign or will not cooperate, I'll try and be helpful, but I can't spend too much time trying to be creative there because I'm siphoning resources away from the primary business driver, primary focus.
That's such a great way to think about it, and well said. All right, the D in Badass is drive. What drives Mike to be successful?
Freedom. Freedom from the cubicle, from the 9 to 5.
That's such a hellhole, wasn't it? Ugh.
It is. I come out of, when I graduated college in the early, around 2000, 2001, it was working in Manhattan, and I commuted from Staten Island. And that was 2 hours each way on the bus in bumper-to-bumper traffic. So, I'd leave the house. I would get the 7:15 bus to get there at 9, and then I would leave at 5 and get home at 7. So that's a 12-hour day. I didn't get paid for 12 hours.
Nope.
And it just sucked. It was miserable. And I remember, I wasn't getting along from the first week. It's obvious it wasn't a good fit. And I remember him, my supervisor at the time saying, "Oh, this is XYZ Corporation. This is corporate America. This is how it is." And I don't care how it is. This isn't for me. I just left after like 7 months. So, and actually, I have a relative that was a vice president of the company. So I had a track road to executive leadership. And I'm like, this is just not for me. It's not going to work. And once the day that I left, I never went back to another job in Manhattan.
Awesome. 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 And you run your Wake County home buyers by yourself.
Yes. I run it. The delivery of the product, which is the houses, is delegated to a general contractor. So I don't deal with the subs.
Mm-hmm.
He does. I basically write the checks and I do a walkthrough with them, but all the, scheduling, repairs, all that's delegated. And for the marketing, I do have an SEO company. I have a paid search company. So I pretty much manage those contractors in a way. So
you're a one-man show. I love it.
Yeah, more of an executive level. I'm just allocating resources and providing direction and sort of leadership. So, and I'm starting for the next year to expand the business even further. I'm bringing on more administrative support.
Very nice. What's going to be your first hire for that?
I have a assistant right now that helps with when I'm going to buy something. They're coordinating all the utilities, insurance, those kinds of things. And now I'm going to have them assist with a lot of the files and documentation on OneDrive and those kinds of things. So the big challenge is, we were talking about Windows earlier. It's like, I try and invite her to OneDrive and it won't let her in. I have to figure out why that is and actually give her access. So, but I'm every year that goes by, I sort of delegate and elevate. So I delegate more things.
Delegate and elevate. I love that. Is this a local person or is this going to be a virtual assistant?
Local. She works with the brokerage firm. She's a licensed broker.
Okay.
Just starting out, but she works for the realty company that does all my listings.
That is awesome. Love that. All right. The second A in Badass is aspiration. I'm a big goal setter. So what is a goal you are currently working on?
I'm working on building passive income, so more rentals. The Airbnb was a decision because it makes more money. It's not as passive, but I'm looking to build up apartments and just more passive sources of income so that if I can't work anymore, if I can't flip houses anymore, I don't have to worry about driving that revenue.
I am on that path as well. I just signed up for an education program in January, so that is on my list. All right. The first S in badass is systems. What systems do you have in place to help you achieve success?
I have project management software that I use to manage my time and actually manage the projects themselves. To kind of, what tasks. So there's projects, and then there's tasks, what tasks are delegated, what their due date is. So I have that in place.
What software is it?
It's Achieve Planner. It's a dated system. It's older. It was constructed in, I think, mid-2000s desktop version, but I use software to manage my time. And everything, like the actual execution, is delegated. So the actual delivery of the product, as we talked about, is delegated to a general contractor. And then the paid search advertising, the SEO advertising, that's delegated to a vendor, and then I manage the vendors.
So you never leave the house. Just kidding.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I invested in a stand-up desk, because especially during quarantine, I was sitting all day.
Yep.
I started developing back problems because I just never got up. So now it's like I struggle to keep my steps above 5,000 because I'm usually in one spot. It's generally not healthy. And I noticed that working from home is like there's something involved in the waking up process that you prepare to go out and then you leave the house. Mm-hmm. Or I go to a local coffee shop and get like an espresso or something, because if I don't get up and leave the house, it takes me an hour or two to get out of that wake up fog.
Right.
So, that's one of those things that, kind of how do you manage a very dreamy kind of life of working from home all day and kind of being in this fog because you don't leave the house. So,
Gotcha. Yes. Super important. All right. The last S in badass is success. What does success mean to Mike Otranto?
I need to be the master of my own destiny. I can't have that dictated to me by other people.
So true.
I have to be in charge. And it's, I can delegate decisions and things, but I need to be in charge of my own income, my schedule, and my life. I just can't. Working for other people just never worked for me. I did learn some important things, and the whole corporate America, I just never fit into it. It's
right.
Not. Can't have it. So.
Well, I appreciate you sharing this project. It was amazing from start to finish. Great location, total success, and I look forward to stalking you a little bit more on Facebook and seeing all these projects that you have going on. So thank you. How do people find you online?
Facebook, Wake County Homebuyers.
Okay.
Instagram, Wake County Homebuyers, separated by underscores. Twitter, WC_homebuyers. MikeOtranto.com. Also, WakeCountyHomebuyers.com. I'm also on LinkedIn, and the LinkedIn page is Wake County Homebuyers. So,
well, you are awesome. I appreciate you so much, and I always learn something new from you, and I love the pumpkin analogy. So, thank you for sharing that. And that is all. Thanks for listening. We will catch you on the next episode. Now, go out there and share your badassery, and don't forget, make it a great day. Take care. Bye-bye. Whoop whoop.
Thank you for listening to RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. If you need more badassery, you can follow Jen Josie by visiting therealjenjosie.com or become a member of RAIN by registering on rainmastermind.com.